So in this video, we're going to be talking about leadership in high ticket sales because it's honestly such a crucial role. There's going to be a lot of people watching this video where you're savages. You're a top performer in your industry, whether it's appointment setting or high ticket closing. There's going to be a lot of people watching this that are consistently top of their team, day in, day out. They're beating everyone. But what's the next step for people like this? Well, in alpha setters, we don't see the progression as setter then to closer. We see it as setter and closer on the same level because in both of these positions, you are trading your time for money. Now, in order to level up and really start increasing your earning potential there, in order to separate your time from the money, you have to acquire leverage, and you can acquire leverage by actually managing teams of people. This is what I did. This is what many of my students have done. In fact, I'm making this video today because one of my students, Chan, he's been making 2K weeks as an appointment setter, but he's been working part-time. He did his first 2K week back in February this year, and that is as a part-time appointment setter working 2 to 3 hours a day. On his team of appointment setters, he's consistently the top performing appointment setter on a team full of full-time setters, and he's only part-time. So it made sense that the natural progression for Chan was to eventually go on to lead the team because he's the best setter. He's the top before he's the alpha setter. So obviously Chan is an ambitious guy. He's going to want to level up, acquire more leverage. And just today, he's now being promoted to the full-time appointment setting team leader for their B2B offer and their B2C offer because Chan's a stud. Now that Chan has acquired leverage, now he can go from making 2K weeks to hopefully making 5K weeks, So that's the jump there. So it's important because every high-performing business in this high-ticket space, they all need good team leaders, whether it's a closer leader, a setter leader, just a sales in general leader, a sales manager. They all need good leadership because no high-performing company is going to stay high-performing without the right systems in place and without the right team. The sales team is the life force of a business, right? If the business is not making sales, then they're not making money. And especially appointment setting. Appointment setting is literally the most important part of a business because with no appointments, there's no sales. And with no sales, there's no business. So in this video, we're going to break down how to actually become a good leader in the high-ticket sales space. Whether you're an appointment setter, whether you're a high-ticket closer, how do you actually develop those skills of leadership? Now, my name is Temi Lowry. I actually got my first leadership role when I was just 17 years old, when I was doing door-to-door sales. I was doing direct sales. I was a team leader in door-to-door, and I was a team leader in cold calling. So I've had a lot of experience in leadership now. I mean, today, for the last 2 years, I've actually ran one of the largest appointment setting hiring pools in Europe. Alpha Setters, I'm sure you've heard of us. I'm actually managing over 150 guys on a day-to-day basis. I'm training them myself. I've trained them myself from scratch, and I'm managing them to make sure that they're delivering results for their clients. And what I've learned from leadership over the past 5 years is that it's not easy at all. Leadership is very hard, and it's a skill that you actually have to go out there and consciously try to improve at. I don't think you can just be born with the natural ability to just be an amazing leader. Even the greatest leaders in history, I'm sure they've had to develop that skill set. So in this video, I'm going to talk you through the things that I can analyze, I can recognize are the things that I've had to develop in order to actually become an effective leader. So there's 3 main things that I'm going to break down in this video. 3 main things that I've used myself as an appointment setting team leader. My appointment setters have generated over $30 million in revenue for clients. So this stuff works, boys. So there's 3 main things that I'm going to break down in this video. The first one of those, we're going to dive into one of the greatest leaders in history, which is Napoleon. There's many great things that made Napoleon such a good leader. There's a lot of different things. But I can identify 3 separate things from Napoleon. From doing my research, there's 3 different things that made Napoleon such an effective leader. Number 1 is he would always go out of his way to really feel for his people, his soldiers. He would really go out of his way to make sure he understood them and he could empathize with them. He understood his people. People if you're treating your team members just like a replaceable object, then obviously they're not going to fight for you, right? If you can show that you care about them, you care about your team, you're a family, your boys, they're your people, you care, then that loyalty is going to be so much stronger. Now, there's loads of different ways you can lead. You can lead out of fear. You can threaten to sack everyone. Or you can lead out of love and loyalty. Now, if you're just threatening to sack everyone in the high ticket sales space where there's so much demand for good closers and setters, they're just going to tell you to F off and they're just going to go and find someone else. Right? They're just going to go work for someone else. They're not going to stay with you. You can't lead in the high ticket sales space out of fear. It might have worked 20 years ago when people might have needed the security of their job and they didn't want to get sacked, they didn't want to get laid off. But it's not going to work in the high ticket sales space because there's genuinely just so much opportunity to the point where if they don't like your offer for whatever reason, they're just going to go somewhere else. You know, I tell my alpha setters all the time, like they'll come in, oh yeah, my client's being a pain, like he's taking too long to pay me or whatever. I'm like, bro, just leave. Like we've got loads of opportunities, just leave, bro. I'll put you on a different offer, bro. It's fine. So you can't lead out of fear. You got to lead out of love and loyalty. So make sure that you take the time to understand your team. If they're struggling with something, then don't just get mad at them and shout at them. Like help them with the thing. The next way that Napoleon was such a great leader is that he actually showed his devotion and his loyalty to his people. He showed that he cared about his people. He showed that he was invested in making their lives better. He showed that the battles that they were fighting, it was for the people. It wasn't for his personal selfish interest. He wanted to make his empire a great empire for everyone, right? So showing that you actually care about the business that you're on, that you're devoted to the business, it's going to rub off on the other people around you, right? And then the last way that Napoleon was such a great leader is that he actually led from the front. And this is the main thing. Because you can't be a leader and just be like, oh yeah, do as I say. But like the people don't know why they're doing what you say. So a great example is actually last week I ran an outbound campaign for my own business, Alpha Setters. And I have a team of 5 appointment setters that work under me. Now, for this outbound campaign, I didn't just tell them what to do. Like, oh yeah, go away and do this. Trust me, it works, bro. Instead of just saying, trust me, it works, bro, I was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to do it with you to show that this works. And we'll have a little competition either. Like, yes, I'm a business owner. I don't need to be appointment set myself anymore. I'm way past that stage where I need to be booking appointments for myself. But I was like, boys, let's make this fun. Let's make it a game. I'm going to do it with you just to prove to you that I know what I'm talking about, to prove to you that this works. And if you've got any questions along the way, then just ask me and I'll help you. Now, by me doing it with them as well, that gave me a chance to learn the script myself, learn the common objections that are going to come up in the market, learn all of the strategies behind it myself so that I can teach them better, so that I can deliver better training to them because I've done it myself. I understand the problems of the industry. Now, also, it was a fun way for them because I was almost putting my neck out on the line, right? These guys look up to me as an authority. And if I just decided to go, oh yeah, I'm going to join in with you, and I did shit, and everyone booked more appointments than me or whatever, then I would have looked like an idiot. I would have genuinely looked like an idiot. I would have lost my authority, and they would have probably stopped working for me. So I was almost putting my neck out on the line. And that's what Napoleon would do on the battlefield. He would charge into battle with his warriors, with his soldiers. He'd charge into the battle. He's been injured on the battlefield multiple times. Because he wouldn't just sit back and watch all the fighting take place. He would go into the battlefield himself. He would fight alongside his men. Now, Napoleon's got a quote, a leader is a dealer in hope. As a leader, if you're fighting alongside your men, then you're always giving them hope because it's not like you've sent them to die on the battlefield. Because if the leader had sent them to die, then he wouldn't be there willing to dying with them, right? The fact that the leader's on the front line with them, it gives the rest of their team hope because the leader knows that they're going to make it out alive. The leader knows that they're going to be victorious because that's why he's there himself. As a leader, you must provide hope for the team. In something like sales, where there's rejection and there's setbacks and you're going to have dry patches, if you as a leader, you're out there proving that, okay, this works, you're giving the team hope. Something like outbound. People, bro, everyone has such a negative opinion on outbound, especially DM setting on Instagram. So I was like, okay, boys, don't worry. This is going to work. I'm going to show you that it's going to work because I'm going to do it myself. And outbound appointment setting, my team collectively, we generated, I think it was about 40 leads. It was about 40 leads in 5 days or 4 days. And 17 of those were mine. So I almost made up half of the whole team's leads myself. And that proved to the guys that, oh, wow, like this does work. I just need to keep improving. I just need to keep getting better. I got 17 leads in 4 days. And because as a leader, I was able to show that, then it's like, oh, now they look up to me. Now they're asking me for feedback. Now they understand what's possible because I've showed them myself. So moving away from Napoleon, this is probably even more important than the whole Napoleon example. When you're managing a team, you have to implement a team culture. You have to have a culture there. Now, this is something that I learned when I was back in door-to-door sales. Back when I was doing direct sales, the thing that hooked me in on sales in the first place was the team culture. The team culture is everything in sales. Now, when I think of team culture, I think of movies like Wolf of Wall Street. You know, where they're in their office, everyone's going mad, everyone's hammering deals, getting excited, whatever. Like, they've just got that really boisterous and really like strong team culture where they're all just fighting for each other. That's what you need in high ticket sales too. That's the main thing that's missing in high ticket sales. Because there's no office environment, there's no team culture anymore. When I was in door-to-door sales, every single day would be training each other in the morning, would be practicing, and then would be competing against each other. Would be going out onto the doors and seeing who can get the most leads today, who can make the most sales today. Every day, without fail, we're competing. The culture was immaculate. We'd have fun, we'd be boisterous, in between appointment setting, would be driving and drifting cars around roundabouts. You know, we'd just be having fun and we'd just be loving life. When you enjoy what you do, you're always going to perform better than if you don't enjoy what you do. And having that team culture there is going to make everyone enjoy it more, and it's going to spark everyone's competitiveness to fight even harder. So when I was doing this outbound campaign with my business, and I was literally leading from the front, I was doing the outbound campaign with my students. One thing that I was doing constantly is just shit talking the team all the time, just shit talking them. Because obviously, like I said, I was dominating these guys. I was battering them, and I was letting them know that. I was like, boys, that's another lead for me. Can't see you boys. You're stuck on 2 leads, 3 leads, boys. I'm on 10 leads by now. What you doing? And I was just shit talking them. They knew I wasn't actually like mocking them, or I wasn't actually having a go. I wasn't being passive aggressive. I was just having fun with them. I was just letting them know that like I'm the big G. Like, come on, catch up, boys. And then I've got a student called David. And after we had a team meeting with David, and obviously I was just giving it all this, I was just giving verbals. David's like, you know what? Just because of the amount of shit that Temmie's been talking, I'm going to make sure I beat him, because then he won't be able to talk. And I was like, okay, bring it on. I was welcoming the challenge. And then David was fighting. And David managed to go from like 3 leads to 10 leads in like 2 days. Because that motivated David to fight even more, because he wanted to beat me. Our superpower as men is our competitive nature. It's our superpower, genuinely. That's why Alpha Setters is men only. Because I like promoting this like almost like toxic competitive environment, because it genuinely just pushes us so much further as men. In door-to-door sales, there was a winner and a loser of every day. You didn't want to be the loser. Everyone wanted to be the winner. Because of that, we would fight harder than if it was just like, everyone was just like, oh yeah, nice job today. Yeah. Oh, you got 0 leads. Oh, don't worry, mate. You'll do better next time. No, if you got 0 leads today, it's like, dickhead, basically. And that would push us to fight even further. You got to have a team culture. There's got to be a laugh. There's got to be a bond between the team, the closers, the setters. And there has to be a competitive element of this. You've got to introduce that into the business that you're managing for. Now, the final thing that I think is really important to have as a leader, as a business, is a mission. You need a mission. A man's priority will always be on his mission. A man's mission is the source of his happiness. We all need a mission, a project that we're working towards. And if you can implement this into a sales team, then that sales team is going to fight so much harder for you. Now, speaking of David is actually on track to make his first 10K a month by the end of the year. David's got his own business, his own sales agency that we're building together. For some reason, like I've had Chris and I've had David. For some reason, people that work for me, I've even got Aaron now that's becoming an entrepreneur, and Killian. Now that I think about it, people that work for me just tend to turn into entrepreneurs, because I support my guys. Like, I'm not just here to milk them as much value as possible. Like, I will support them. If they want to progress onto other things, then I'll support them on that. And they know that. That's that loyalty element that I told you about. I got my people's best interest at heart. But David's on track to make his first 10K month very, very soon. He's crushing it. He just signed a massive agency client yesterday. David's got his own business, but he's still appointment sets for me. He was still doing outbound DMs for me last week. David doesn't even do outbound DMs for himself. He has an appointment setter working for himself. But for some reason, he still does outbound for me. How does that make sense? David doesn't have to work for me at all. In fact, he's not worth David's time at all working for me. Genuinely isn't. And David knows that. I'll tell him that right now. If David wants to quit, then it's like, I'd be like, yeah, that's probably a good idea, bro. Even though I would love David to keep working for me, if he wants to quit, I'd be like, yeah, you know what, that's probably the right thing for you to do. David still works for me because we've got a mission and because David's invested in the mission. We've got a project called Project 300 where we're trying to scale Alpha Setters to 300 students and then we're closing the doors forever. It's a cool mission. It's a cool mission that everyone can get behind because it's not even just money. It's a mission. And all of my team members want to see that mission complete. They're all invested in the mission. To the point where I've got loyalty from people that don't even need to work for me. That it's not even worth their time working for me, but they still do it because they're invested in the mission. If you're in direct sales, the mission might be to be the top office in the UK, the top office in Europe, the top energy consulting firm in North America. Whatever it is, you might have a mission like that. In high ticket sales, your mission might be to, become the number one fitness influencer in Europe, or to have the best sales team in the fitness industry, or whatever it is. Or maybe you want to do $1 billion in revenue this year. Well, I don't know what it is. I don't know what your mission is, but having a mission that your team are invested in is going to make them fight so much harder. Napoleon probably had a mission. He probably painted this vision of the future where France is just some amazing empire and dominates the world or something. I don't know. I don't know what Napoleon's mission is or what the vision of the future he painted for his warriors. But if they have the vision there, then they're going to fight towards that mission. Having a shared mission, it brings out a different part of us as men. We all need a mission. We all need a purpose. It gives us purpose. You know, like, I think a big reason why people are depressed now in this miserable country of England, no slander, but it's miserable, is that people go to work and it's just meaningless. There's no meaning for their work. They just do their job, get paid, and go home. Whereas when you're invested in the company, you're invested in the vision of the company, then you're going to go to work and it's like your work has meaning now. You know why you're working. You're working for something more than just money. And we will always do our best work when we're working towards something more than just the money. When I was a team leader in door-to-door sales, what I'd always tell my guys is like, yeah, we're all here to get paid. We're all here to make commissions. But if you think about the business and you think about like just trying to make sales for the company, trying to do a good job so that we can all level up as an office and we're all working together, as long as you've got that mindset, you will make money regardless. But you've just got to focus, we've got a mission. We're trying to upgrade this branch. We're trying to expand. If you help us with that mission and you work as a team and we're all trying to get there, then you will make money as a byproduct of that. And I think that's something that we need to implement into high ticket sales as well. So in your team meetings that you're doing every day, your quarterly reviews or whatever it is, when you're dealing with your team, make sure you're really painting a very, very clear vision of the future of your business. What are you trying to achieve? And be ambitious with it. Don't just set some mediocre, basic bitch, part-time savage targets. Aim for the moon. And if you're all aiming for the moon, when you're on track towards that, the momentum is gonna be like a snowball effect. Snowball rolling down a hill. The snowball, you gotta give it a lot of effort at first. You gotta push it. You gotta get it over the edge. But then once the snowball's rolling down that hill, it's just gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger, and the momentum is just gonna continue powering it forward. That's what's gonna happen in your sales team as long as you implement these things. So hopefully this has gave you some insights on what it takes to be a good leader in high ticket sales, because leadership is something that is missing in the moment of the market. So yeah, take this, crush it with your sales teams, boys. Obviously subscribe for more content like this. I do have a free school community now as well, which you can join if you want to learn more about stuff like being promoted to an appointment setting team leader, etc. So subscribe, join my free school community, and as always, boys, keep grinding.